Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday and I'm back, and that means it's time for Hello Dave. As I've been gone for a few weeks, it was actually like before Christmas I think last time I did Hello Dave. Some of the news today is going to be a bit of an update on what's been going on like the last 2-3 weeks. But let's just dive straight into to Elite Dangerous, where we have had some news regarding what's going to happen with Elite. Frontier has announced that we're going to get at least 2 updates this year. We're going to get update 15 and update 16. Exactly what kind of content these 2 updates is going to contain is not really known. The only thing that we know that's kind of been talked about is that there is some rework of some major feature in the game that allegedly has been in the works. Frontier hasn't really mentioned anything about it in a while, so I'm not really sure if that's still on the table. It is at least one thing that we can kind of expect to happen. Exactly what feature we're talking about has not been revealed yet. There are basically 2, I think, major theories about what it is. Some people seem to think that it is a engineering rework because Frontier did do like, it's a while ago now, but they did do this like Q&A on the forum where they asked the community for feedback around like how do we change engineering if it had to be changed, what do people want to see in terms of changes. I did a whole lot of things regarding that on the forums a while back. So a lot of people is expecting that that is the case, and it might very well be. The other one that people are considering is whether it could be power play, simply because power play is one of those like features in the game that's not really being used by that many people and hasn't really received any kind of attention since it was introduced like many years ago. Many other gameplay loops have had updates over the years, engineering included. For those like old timers who've been playing Elite for a while like me, will remember the day when engineering rolls were completely random. You would basically roll random rolls every time. That has been changed, it's been improved a lot. That's pretty much all we know, at least that I've, as far as I know, about what's going to happen with Elite Dangerous in the coming year. I'm expecting, of course, that we're also going to see some more lore events with the Thargoid War. Right now, we're kind of beginning to fall into a rhythm with beginning to take over systems, and we're beginning to get a pretty good grasp of, I think, slowly beginning to slow down the Thargoid expansion to a point where we can begin to, at least some of the Maelstrom areas have been locked down, so they're not really expanding anymore, but that they are just staying in the systems that they already have. It hasn't been slowed down completely in all sectors, but slowly we are getting into a rhythm and we're beginning to not push the Thargoids back, but to slow down their advance. It's definitely still the Thargoids that has the upper hand here. The human war machine is beginning to grind into gear, and with new and upcoming equipment, maybe it should make our lives a little bit easier. And this actually segues nicely into the next one, which is some of those new equipment and new toys that we are going to get. There's been some Galnet news that Azimuth Biotech is working on a new module called an experimental weapon stabilizer. Now, many of you will know that there is a 4-limit fitting cap on experimental weapons. That means all these fancy Guardian weapons or anti-Xeno weapons, you can only fit 4 in total combined. So if you can fit like 2 multi-cannons and 2 Gauss cannons if you want to, or you can fit 4 Gauss cannons, but the total combined of all these anti-Xeno weapons is 4. No more than that. They have announced that they're going to make this new experimental weapon stabilizer that's going to allow you to fit more weapons than the 4. They mentioned there's going to be a large and a medium variety of them. The medium variety is going to give you 1 extra slot that you can use, or not slot, but you allow it raises the cap by 1, and the large one gives you 2 extra. They say it's a medium and large size, and that would indicate that maybe it goes in hardpoint slots, which seems a little weird, since a module like that I would expect would either go in a utility mount or more likely in a core internal. Since we know it has sizes, it's unlikely to go into utility mounts. But again, if they use this large medium term in the Galnet article, which doesn't really make a lot of sense when we're talking optional internals, as they use classes like 1 to 8, it could be because Frontier maybe hasn't yet decided which classes they're going to be. If that was the case, It's a little weird that they didn't say small and a large variant, but they go medium and a large variant. I don't know. But on the other hand, it can also feel a little harsh that you have to sacrifice an either medium or large hard point on your ship in order to be able to fit more experimental weapons. It could be a balancing factor, which I think it maybe is if it does go into hardpoint. It prevents it from being something that's going to make all the medium ships overpowered, and it's going to be something that's going to be more tailored towards the bigger ships, your corvettes, your anacondas, and especially your Type 10. Because your Type 10 has this huge array of hardpoints, and some of them are frankly positioned quite poorly, if you could fit one of these modules, sacrifice one hardpoint, which is not really a lot on a Type 10, and enable you to fit more weapons, that suddenly is going to make the Type 10 a very interesting anti-Xeno ship again. And especially now that we're beginning to get more and more gimbal varieties of these weapons, because one of the big drawbacks of the Type 10, of course, is the hardpoint placement. You have these hardpoints sitting way out, and then when they're firing forward, they're so far apart that fixed weapons won't be able to hit with both of them on a Thargoid reliably at the same time. But again, you could fit maybe one of those stabilizers out on one of those slots, alleviating at least one of the poor hardpoint positions, and then maybe that's going to help make the ship a little bit more useful in anti-Xeno combat. Over in Star Citizen, not really a whole lot of news going on. We still have the 318 PTU running, and now also a 317.5 PTU running at the same time, which is a little confusing. But yeah, I'm not sure if the server's actually running. But in terms of numbers, there has been another letter from the chairman, which is Chris Roberts, who has been done like a roundup of the year. We've got some numbers regarding player numbers and player activities in the game. So in 2022, Star Citizen saw over 1 million unique players logged in, with a total of 46 million hours played, which is quite impressive. I calculated that it's like 5.5 or something, 5,600 average concurrent players across the entire year. So if you take that and see how many years is that, it's like 5,000 something years of gameplay time in the last year. So that gives an indication of how many concurrent players there are on Star Citizen. Then it's somewhere between 5 and 6 on average. And as we know, these peaks in the evening and they're lower in the day. So I would probably expect that the numbers for Star Citizen is something like 3,000 to 4,000 players in the off hours, and then maybe it spikes up to I would guess like 6,000 or 7,000 doing the most like prime time. So that would be EU evening and US evening times. And one of them I think that was actually interesting was that we saw during the free fly, we saw 500,000 new players play the game, with over 70% of them buying a new game pack. Comparing that to the 1 million unique players, so we know that 500,000 of them at least is new players, and actually also state that there was 800,000 new accounts. But new accounts doesn't mean that they go in and play. You can create an account and then actually never log into the game, never buy a game pack. But we know that at least 500,000 went in and played during the free fly events. So that means that about half of the player base in Star Citizen has joined within the last year. Again, I'm not sure either that means that the players don't stick around for very long, or it just means that the game is seeing massive growth right now. I haven't had historical data for this, so it's hard to say. He also mentioned Pyro and the static server meshing, which is currently planned for Q4 of this year. So that means at the end of this year. So quite a bit further away than I think a lot of people expected. With delays, which we know is going to happen, and CIG has a tendency to be a little time optimistic with their estimates and their roadmaps. So realistically, let's say Pyro is probably going to be an early 2024 thing. So it's still quite far away, quite a bit longer than I actually thought. I thought it would be in the first half of this year. But yeah, it's still in the works, and definitely something that I'm looking forward to in the future. Now that I'm back, it also means that live streams is going to return as usual. That means I'm going to be live streaming tomorrow. The exact game and topic I haven't really decided on. Before Christmas, I did a ton of Thargoid content, of course, with the new Thargoid war. I'm definitely not done with the Thargoids. I still have some goids to kill. but I think I want to go and do something a little different, as I have done a lot of very Thargoid intensive content. So I want to do something different. I'm not even sure if I'm going to play Elite. I might go and play some Star Citizen, maybe on the live servers, maybe we're going to go and play around on the PTU. Also, I have that exploration character that I haven't really played on in like a month or two now, so it needs to move again so we can go and do some exploration. Let me know in the comment section, what are you guys interested in? Do you want to see some shenanigans in Star Citizen? Should we go and check out the PTU? Should we go and do some exploration? Should we go and do something else in the bubble that's not necessarily Thargoid intended over in Elite Dangerous? I'm really open to suggestions for what to do right now. I'm kind of keen on both the games right now. I really want to go and explore both of them, so it's not enough hours in the day. Let me know, what are you guys interested in? Post in the comment section below and I'll see what you guys are up to. And if you see someone post down there with a topic you think would be nice, give it a like so that I know that more people are interested in it. And if you are heading down there anyway and you haven't already, I would really appreciate if you would consider subscribing to the channel. There'll be plenty more space games to come in the future, not only Elite and Star Citizen, but again, we have Kerbal coming out this year. We have Deliver Us Mars coming out. We have some Starfield stuff. There's going to be tons of good stuff coming in this year. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go down, hit the subscribe button. I'm getting extremely close to that magic 100,000. As you can see on the shelf behind me, plenty of joystick equipment lined up here ready for giveaways when that 100,000 happens. So if you want to be part of that, there is a subscribe button below. That's good for this week. Thanks a lot for watching, and also next time, I'll see you guys in space.